Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we've got something really fun to take a look at because we actually have a box full of dinosaur figures. I used to have unboxing videos on this channel all the time, however lately there hasn't really been all that much out there as far as really cool dino lots that I've been acquiring. There just hasn't been much that's shown up that has sparked my interest until recently. Sora, if you know who Sora is, Sora's Art, aka the girlfriend of Marco Makes, had reached out to me to let me know that there was a really cool box of dinosaurs on eBay, and once I had seen what was included in that box, I was able to grab it right away. So straight out of the gate, I do want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Sora for pointing this lot out to me and letting me know that it did exist, because it's allowing me to fill in the gaps of a collection that I have here, and you know, some stuff that I really needed to complete that collection, although I don't have it complete quite yet, but I'm very, very close. One figure will never enter the collection, but that one is just nearly impossible to find. Regardless, I'm psyched, so let's start bringing this stuff in. The first one is this, which is not a new figure to my collection, although it is a really nice one. We have a Safari Ltd. Carnegie Collection Stegosaurus, and it is a pretty cool figure. You know, it's nothing amazing, but it is a fun, old-school Carnegie figure for sure. And then we've got some really interesting ones in here, and I don't know who makes them. I don't know if you guys might have a clue, because as you can see, we have some skeletons, and obviously this one here is a Brachiosaurus, but there are also a few others. We have a Stegosaurus here included as well, and it does tell me up here that this is Stegosaurus. Actually, I might have just discovered who does make these. It looks like these are from AAA. That is really weird. I never ever knew that AAA had dinosaur skeletons out. I actually really love the AAA dinos, even though they're not the best in the world, but there's just such a fun, like, vintage feel and enjoyment factor to them. I have been collecting them for years, so actually this is really exciting, even more so than I thought, because AAA skeletons, that's just something I didn't even know existed until right now. And speaking of AAA, there are a few very cool AAA figures in this lot, which was also part of the reason why I wanted it, one of which is this one. Now this is, like, you know, only a few minutes into this video, it's our third Stegosaurus, but as you can see, this is the AAA Stegosaurus. But what's interesting about this that you may or may not notice straight out of the gate is the color scheme for this one, because the coloration is actually very reminiscent to the Batat Stegosaurus. And I've noticed that there are a few figures in this lot that are all AAA that have borrowed the Batat paint schemes, and that's pretty interesting to me that, you know, a company like AAA would go out and kind of replicate the colorations of the Batat figures. The Batat figures were very popular for their time, so having that going on between those two lines, it's actually really neat. We've also got ourselves another Carnegie Collection figure, as we have a nice old Triceratops. This one's in pretty good shape overall. Again, a figure that I do already have. Sometimes there's like slight paint variants of these that I'm not super familiar with. I'd have to go online and kind of search them up to exactly see which ones are what different paint variants. So it's possible that some of this stuff might be alternate paint variants I don't have that look similar enough, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure I have that one though. And now, you know, there's a lot more in here, but this is one of the figures that you'll see straight away if you are familiar with that is really exciting to me, even though I do already actually have this one. Let's actually just reposition the camera here. This one is in better shape than the one that I do already have, so I'm pretty excited to kind of replace the one that I have with this one. But this is the BBC Walking with Dinosaurs Ankylosaurus. So that should tell you what some of the figures are in this lot that I'm really excited about adding to my collection that I didn't have prior. The ones that I'm most excited about are a few of these Walking with Dinosaurs figures, and they're very hard to find here in the United States, especially for a good price. And then we've got ourselves another of these AAA skeletons, which we now have a Triceratops as well, which unfortunately they seem to be a little warped because he doesn't look like he's going to want to stand too well. There's also the old Carnegie Collection Elasmosaurus. This one is pretty beat up. There are definitely a whole lot of scuffs on it and everything, so I don't know what I would do with this one, maybe repaint it. I do already have this figure probably a few times now, so I'm not too worried about that one. And then here we go with some more of the AAA figures kind of replicating Batat, because even though this one's not quite as obvious as the Stegosaurus, we have the AAA Brachiosaurus. However, it is painted very much so similar to the way that the Diplodocus is painted from the Batat line. So if you are familiar with that Batat Diplodocus, you'll probably notice the paint apps of this one looking very, very reminiscent to that. Again, it's another one of those instances where we almost have like a Batat AAA line here. Then when it comes to really cool AAA figures, I absolutely love this Dromaeosaurus, and I do already have a few of these. However, I will say that I think this one is in way better shape than probably any of the other ones that I do have. The paint apps, you know, there's like some very minor scuffs on it, but for the most part, this one is actually in great shape, which is very exciting to have one in even better shape than the ones that I already have. There's also an old school Carnegie Collection Pteranodon. I do already have this figure. It's probably one of my least favorite of the Carnegie Collection of all time, but, you know, it is, of course, in here. Then here is a very exciting one, as we have the Toyway, again, BBC Walking with Dinosaurs, Stegosaurus, and that is an absolutely beautiful looking Stegosaurus right there. I just am completely in love with this one because I love the Walking with Dinosaurs series, like, in a big way, and the paint apps and everything on this one are actually really quite nice as well. For the most part, there's not much in the way of damage. A little scuff there, maybe a few on the top of the plates, but pretty darn nice shape overall. And then we've got ourselves another AAA skeleton, although I don't think there's any chance of this one standing. It certainly doesn't look like it. Yeah, doesn't look like that's going to happen, but clearly we've got the T-Rex skeleton here as well, which of course is an exciting one. It'll stand if I lean it against something. Then another awesome one, which is the Postosuchus from the Walking with Dinosaurs series. This one is in really good shape. The one that I have, I was always a little unhappy with it because there's like one side of the face that just doesn't have a nice paint app that's consistent with the other side. One side is like almost missing paint kind of a little bit, so I was always a little bummed by that, but the figure's a little bit hard to find, so I was content having that one because I didn't think I'd have an opportunity to get another one, but this one is way better, and as far as the shape goes anyway, than the one that I already have. We also have the Utah Raptor in here, and this one also looks like it's in really good shape, aside from the leg being a little bowed right there, which I'm sure, you know, I just took out that T-Rex skeleton, but, you know, the hot water, cold water trick might go ahead and fix that one up. Does look like we've got a little bit of a scuff going on here above the eye and under the eye, but for the most part, that one's in pretty nice shape. I don't think it's going to stand. Yeah, it's going to have to lean the other way because of the bowed leg. I'll have to fix that at some point. We've also got a model here, as we have the Deinonychus trio from Safari Ltd. However, I will say that there is an arm broken off of one, but it is a model I already have, so I wasn't too worried about that one at all anyway. And speaking of models I've already got, we also have the old Iguanodon from Safari Ltd, which I do already have quite a few of. Again, there are slight paint variants, so it could be one of those, but I do know I have that particular version of the Iguanodon, or at least one very similar. As well as the super old school Mosasaurus, again from the Safari Ltd line, which is a pretty cool figure, very sea monster-ish as far as that one goes. We have this monstrous beast, which is an absolute classic of a Safari Ltd figure. We have the old school Apatosaurus. I don't know for sure if I have this paint variant. It actually doesn't look that familiar to me, so this might be another one of those slight paint variants that I did not have previously. Speaking of slight paint variants I didn't have, I don't think I have this exact version of the Allosaurus either. Again, another old school Safari Ltd figure, but this actual paint scheme just looks a little different than the ones that I have. I'm not positive on that. I'll have to check and see, but it's a pretty darn cool figure. And then another winner for sure, as we have the Torosaurus from the Walking with Dinosaurs line. This one as well, again, looks to be in really nice shape for the most part, which a lot of the ones that I have are pretty beat up, so it'll be nice to add some to my collection that are in a little bit better shape. Then when it comes to one of these Walking with Dinosaurs figures that I did not have, we've got the T-Rex, which is really exciting because I've wanted this one for so long. It does have a few paint scuffs on it and stuff, and if I feel like I really need to, I can easily touch those up and basically, fix the figure up and restore it back to its former glory, especially with such dark tones. It'd be pretty easy to kind of touch that one up. The leg does look a little bit warped here, so again, I'm going to have to probably fix that, but that is a really cool looking figure. It's my first time ever actually having a chance to see this one in person, and definitely a really exciting one to add to my collection. Let's just kind of push him back here and get him into a spot where we can keep going. And then we have that one figure that, like, everybody probably has. The old Safari Ltd Spinosaurus. This thing is just, like, everywhere. It's been around for so long, and specifically this color variant seems like everybody's had that one at least once or 100 times. And we've also got the old Safari Ltd T-Rex, and wouldn't you know it, he's actually missing an arm, which doesn't surprise me. That's actually really common for that T-Rex to be broken, but I'm pretty sure I have that one as well. I know I have that sculpt, but I'm pretty sure I have that paint variant also. We've also got another of these AAA figures, again painted up in similar fashion to the Batat line as we have the Triceratops, and I'm loving these because I just did not have any of these Batat style AAA figures. So, and speaking of the most exciting one, so I'm really excited to have these is what I was about to say, but there's also the T-Rex, the old AAA T-Rex, and again, even though these paint jobs aren't exactly the same, you can very clearly see where the inspiration came from, not to mention the fact that they all, in this line of AAA figures, have that sort of Batat inspiration to them, and this one was one that I really wanted to get a hold of because I'm a huge fan of the Batat T-Rex, and having this version, again with the Batat colors, is definitely something that just was really appealing to me. We've also got the Walking with Dinosaurs Polacanthus, another absolutely gorgeous figure, probably one of the best from the Toyway line overall, and again another one that I do have but looks to be in a little bit better shape than the one that I have. And this one is going to completely go out of screen because we've got ourselves the gigantic old school Safari Ltd Brachiosaurus, which you can see way up there, very tall, but this is a figure that has appeared on my channel in many unboxings, so not one that's particularly exciting. I don't know if that one is a different paint variant either from the ones that I have, but it is a really cool figure, maybe one that I will repaint because now I have quite a few. As well as the old school Diplodocus. Again, another figure that I have a few of, another one that I've acquired in a few unboxings, another very old Safari Ltd figure. Again, I'm also not positive if there are any different slight paint variants to this one. I'll have to check mine out and see if that one differs from the ones that I have. And we are getting down to the nitty-gritty at this point. We've also got the baby Apatosaurus from the Safari Ltd line that goes with that adult that we had brought in earlier. Also, the Protoceratops with the nest, which is another really cool one. Again, from Safari Ltd. I think I have that one, but I'm actually not entirely sure. As well as another one I did not have from the Batat line, we have the Iguanodon, which I am hyped about, so hyped, because this is another one that I've been kind of eyeing up for quite a few years, and am so happy to now have to add to my collection. I'm actually pretty impressed how nice that stands, like there's no warping or anything, considering the way that these were sitting in the box. And the final two, first of all, one of which is Big Al. Now this is another Walking with Dinosaurs figure. This is also another one that I do already have, but I absolutely adore Big Al, so I will take another one without a doubt. And the final one is the most exciting. I saved this one for last. It's the most exciting as far as this box goes, in my opinion anyway. We have the Ophthalmosaurus from the Walking with Dinosaurs line. This is a figure I have wanted for so long, I can't even begin to tell you not only how long, but also how much I've wanted it. It is such a cool looking figure, and man, it is so much nicer in person than I was expecting it to be. absolutely incredible release from that Toyway Walking with Dinosaurs series. So that was one heck of an amazing lot of figures that I was able to acquire. Again, a massive thank you goes out to Sora, who pointed this lot out to me, and I can now add all of these incredible figures either to my collection for the first time or the second time with just better paint apps and less defects. Regardless, let me know in the comments section if there's anything you'd like to see reviewed and what you guys think of this, and also like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.